Welcome to the Church Solutions Podcast, brought to you by JSL Solutions. The Church Solutions Podcast is designed to help equip you and your church in the use of technology and other tools and services. And now, here are your hosts, Steve Lacy and Phil Thompson.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Church Solutions Podcast.
Hi, my name is Steve Lacy.
And my name is Phil Thompson. Good to have you here. We are with a company called JSL Solutions, and we do this podcast, a lot of technical stuff, obviously, because of what we do, but we also are involved in ministry and churches, and so we like to have topics that will enable and encourage people who are volunteers, pastors, not just tech people is what I'm saying.
Right. And today we got something special, right? It's a new year.
It is a new year, and this is this is from an article I borrowed from Jeff Gilmer, who is whose technical or whose official title is Candidate Support Specialist for Vanderbloemen. I can't read it. I don't even.
Vanderbloemen Search Group.
Vanderbloemen Search Group. I made the font really small here, and I can't read it.
Do you know what they are? I know you printed this thing really tiny.
I know, sorry. But I tried to trying to conserve paper here. So this is called, and we've kind of modified some of the material here, so sorry, Jeff. But it's called Hacks to Start the New Year.
Yes, how appropriate.
Well, yeah, and I want to say this right off the
hand. And these are
life hacks to start the new year.
Not software hacks.
No. We'll share software hacks in a bit, but life hacks here. And I want to say this, this is when probably by the time people listen to this is going to probably be the second or third week of January. But you could do this anytime. When maybe you're listening to this podcast in July or something. You could certainly do some of these things right now. You don't have to wait,
right?
Till next year or whatever, or you don't have to do it in January is what I'm trying to say.
But this is a good time. It's a
good time to start.
People are thinking of new stuff.
You can do it anytime. All right.
And these are not resolutions. These are hacks.
Exactly. So with that in mind, we have a bunch of them. So let's roll on here. Let's move on here.
All right. Number one on our list is zero your inbox.
Zero out your email inbox. And I know this can be a really huge task for a lot of us here, but it's going to make a tremendous difference in really feeling renewed for the new year and getting all that clutter off your email. So really look at it, zero it out, do what you have to do. Either respond to the ones that you really need to respond to, or if you haven't by now, kiss them goodbye. I don't know.
Do you have a zeroed out inbox?
No. But I do. I worked really hard. I've got a few that are still lingering here. And if I don't get to them this week, then what I'm going to do is probably put them in a document somewhere and look at them later or whatever, if I really need to get to them.
Right. Okay.
So that's the idea. So zero out your email inbox.
All right. Next is set goals for the year.
Yeah, set some goals. And I think this is good to do. Maybe it's short-term, mid-term, whatever, long-term. But I think looking at some realistic goals for your year here, it's a good way to get yourself off to a good start and maybe help set you up for success.
Yes. Have you set your goals for 2018?
I have a couple. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I have a couple.
I'm normally way ahead of the game, and this year I'm not.
Yeah. Mine are really different this year. Maybe we don't have time. I don't really want to get too personal because you'll criticize me. But, I have some goals here that I think will be helpful. All right, so let's move on.
All right. Number 3, change up your environment.
Change up the environment. So that doesn't mean moving to another country or another state, but we're talking about, at least I see this as maybe your work environment, your space.
Yeah, and I kind of like this one. Go in there and rearrange the furniture and just give a fresh new look to whatever you're doing. I
do this usually every year, sometimes twice a year, and I got it from my former general manager I worked with for many years in broadcasting, Doug Martin, here in Tucson. Doug would change his office around on a very regular basis.
Oh, yeah?
He would change everything. Sometimes he would move offices.
Oh, yeah?
And so he would do that. And I was like, why are you doing that? Because I was such a routine person. But I think it's a good thing to do. I think, change up your environment a little bit can give you, kind of a fresh perspective on things.
Yeah. All right, number 4 on our list, be more intentional about collaborating and learning from others.
Sometimes it's easy, especially for those of us that are in ministry, especially if you're in more of a I don't know what I want to say. If you're a senior pastor or somebody that's kind of up the food chain, so to speak, sometimes it's easy to fall into this rut where you feel like you can't learn from others, maybe especially those who might be younger than you. And I've learned a lot the last few years from especially people that are maybe younger than I am, and it's just to me it's improved my life a little bit. So I think it's good to be able to collaborate, especially if you're working with a team. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you are in your church, your ministry, or whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, we have a guest next week, right? Mm-hmm. That we're going to learn quite a bit from. And he's less than half our age.
Yeah, Zach Yenser. Zach will be on. Zach was on a few months ago. Sharp young man. Really like him, and looking forward to that next week. All right.
All right, number 5. Do a short-term physical cleanse.
I have a friend that does this. In fact, he's doing it right now. And
what do we mean by this first?
Well, what he's doing...
Because you could say, well, let's take a laxative and do a physical cleanse. That would not be what we're talking about,
well,
right?
It could. No, actually, it could be. But I think what he does is he actually fasts from certain foods for a month. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he fasts from, like it could be caffeine, could be sugar, it could be some kind of bread. He actually... not to offend our listeners, but he's involved in ministry, and he's known to have a beer once in a while, an adult beverage, and he won't have any of that for 30 days.
Well, that's good.
And it's part of kind of his physical cleanse. But it could be anything.
Yeah, or it could be a complete fast.
It could be. Yeah, it certainly could be.
That would definitely definitely does a physical cleanse.
It does. And, I think this would mean, do a short-term physical cleanse, could be whatever you mean it to be, if you're a listener. It's good that not only for your body, but I think it also can help your system in the long run. So, anyhow, all right.
So, this one's not a problem for me anymore, but anyway, take one thing off your social calendar.
Well, I think it's important because, especially for those of us involved in ministry to some level, some capacity, we're usually dealing with lots of people, and because of that, there's people that may want us, to come over to their house and be involved with them and do things. And I'm all for relationships, but I think sometimes you can fill your life up with so much activity that it's going to take away from other important things in your life.
Yeah, most commonly, I hear this around, and I was part of this as well, is when you have younger kids and you just got so much going on that just take one thing off your social calendar.
I think so.
That'll free you up.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about that because you're not social. But
that's right. That's why I don't have a problem with it.
You're less social than I am.
I have no social calendar.
And that's saying a lot if you're less social than I am. All right. So let's move on here. Number 7 in our fine list here. Start a devotional study.
Yes.
So this is kind of maybe, whether you commit to reading the whole Bible or maybe diving into one specific chapter, starting a devotional, make that part of your daily routine if you haven't by now. And I think it's a good thing to remind ourselves to do.
There's a lot of tools out there to help you out.
Yeah.
Our very own Church App Live has a daily devotional piece in it.
That's right. We have a mobile app called Church App Live. Shameless plug. All right.
Number 8, get a journal.
Get a journal. This is something I have done over the years. I haven't been doing it lately, but it's there's something to be said about that. The people that journal write a few maybe short thoughts about each day, or maybe you can modify this maybe each week. Maybe you don't have to do it exactly like everybody else does it.
I had a daily planner, I guess you'd call it. It was mainly through work.
Yeah.
But I would record, weekend highlight things, whatever. And it was kind of neat to go back, 5 years ago and pull out some of those journals and go, oh yeah, that's So I had one big purge when I left my other day job. I got rid of all of that stuff.
Really?
Kind of regret. Got rid of 25 years worth of stuff.
Well, it's nice. It provides a helpful reflection for the end of your weeks and your months or whatever. I like to reflect, and so I probably should start doing this, but it can be helpful. It can be a good thing.
All right, so clean your space, number 9.
Number 9, clean your space. So, office, bedroom, kitchen, pick one space that you frequently use and do a complete deep cleaning to start the new year.
Yeah, maybe that has to do with the rearranging that area.
I think you could
go move everything around and get your toothbrush out and clean every nook and cranny.
I find that here, where I live here in Tucson and where I live out here, there's dust everywhere. I mean, we can dust like crazy, and the next day it shows up again. But yeah, definitely clean your space. Number 10, donate some of your unused items. So that would kind of go along with some of this too. Clean your closet. Here's something my wife did. My wife and my son, my brother became very ill back in Ohio. So my wife and son volunteered to go back there and help him and help some of the business back there. Especially this time of year, I was very grateful for that. But one of the things that she did was she was going through stuff, winter clothes, and trying, because it's cold back there in Ohio right now. And so she was looking at stuff to take, not just winter clothes, but just, some clothes to take. And she gets off track, and all of a sudden she's got piles of this stuff that she wants to decides, okay, I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to give it away. So I was glad she did that. The downside of that was she got off track and she didn't get everything done that she needed to get done because she got focused on something else. But I still think it was a good thing to do. Yeah. Donate your unused items.
I did that very same thing. We do a winter trip with the family, and grabbed all the winter stuff and was like, wow, no one's used this in 6 years. Yep. It's unfortunately I threw it all away instead of donating it.
Well, because
I was thinking nobody wants this.
I totally
Some
buy
old
it.
Children's snowboard boots. I mean, they probably don't need that at Goodwill.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's good. Let's move on. We're running out of time. But yeah, it's a good thing to do, is the bottom line. All right, so number 11, unsubscribe. Yes,
so these are weekly emails that you may get, and just kind of this will help keep that inbox that you cleared out in step 1 cleaned up. Just go through and realize that I really don't need to be a part of this, and that's going to be email, or I wish there was a way, but the junk mail that shows up in my mailbox at home, I don't think there is a way to unsubscribe.
Your literal mailbox.
Your literal mailbox.
Yeah.
There's no way to unsubscribe to that, can you?
I don't think so. Unsubscribing at least to the emails, except for JSL Solutions, our newsletter. Don't unsubscribe to that.
Yes.
And if you want to get on it, you can just send us an email, support@streamingchurch.tv. All right, number 12.
Number 12. Update your online profiles.
Something to think about, something to do. I don't know about you, but I have LinkedIn, I have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have, whatever else I've got there, Facebook, of course. And sometimes you'd be surprised. I mean, your life has changed sometimes. You're doing different things, and it's something to consider. Update your profile. Maybe you haven't updated it for a while.
Yeah.
Might want to do it.
No, I have not.
Number 13. Did I cut you off? Sorry.
No.
We're just
Find someone new
to
invest in and mentor.
Find somebody new that you can pour your life into. At least, we're not talking about huge gobs of time here, but certainly somebody that maybe you could encourage along the way and help. Maybe schedule something so that you're not overwhelmed with it. But part of what I believe is what we're supposed to do as people, as leaders, not just leaders but humans, to encourage each other and help those, especially coworker or maybe somebody in your church, that you can maybe help them become better at what they do and who they are.
All right, and then number 14 is find someone to invest in you.
That's hard to do. I've tried that for years and I gave up.
Oh yeah.
But I think part of it was probably me. People take a look at me and go, no, there's no way. But you know what? If you can connect with somebody that's got some more wisdom than you do, maybe in a specific area. Or, it doesn't have to, it used to be trying to find somebody older, but really, it's, as we just said earlier, it doesn't have to be somebody older than you, but it should be somebody that's kind of obviously developed in an area that you kind of want to develop,
right.
So, I think it's good.
All right. Number 15, reevaluate your budget.
You're the expert on budgets. I'll let you cover this one.
I try to do this every month. Basically, you go through and figure out, where's your money going, and keep track of it. And I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan. You want to you want to control your money, not let your money control you.
Yep.
So
I think it's a good point. It's sometimes it's difficult to do that for some people, but taking a look at your money is very important. And
tell your money where to go rather than
right.
trying to figure out where it went.
And this could be personal as well as, if you're involved in your local church and you are, in that area of leadership, that might be something to consider. All right, number 16 on our little list here of life hacks. Number 16, show gratitude. I tell you what, the last couple years, especially in my life, I have gratitude. I think is so important, not only to the people that we work with and know, but even to ourselves. I think that if you have an attitude of gratitude, it makes your life better and the people around you better, but also it helps you focus. It gets your focus off of the negative, because it's a tough ministry is tough. Life can be tough. Kids have issues. People have issues. You have issues, and sometimes you can get tied up in that negativity. You can
really rearrange your whole mindset by just taking an attitude of gratitude and thanking the Lord for what's going on, and try to create an inventory. You've heard tons of stories about people saying, well, I got nothing going for me, so let's make a list of 5. And an hour later you're like, wow, I got things going pretty good, and it kind of changes your attitude.
Yeah, I think it really does. I remember years ago I was just felt like I was angry all the time. I mean, I wasn't beating anybody up or throwing stuff in the wall or anything, but I just felt frustrated. So I went to this counselor, and he really started to talk to me about gratitude. He had me make a list of things I was grateful for, and a list of my family members and why I was grateful for them, and things in their life, and coworkers and all that stuff. And it really made a difference in my life. It really helped me a lot.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, number 17. We're going to make it to the home stretch. I think
we're doing really well here.
Of these,
yeah,
right?
we're doing great.
All right, 17. Set a prayer schedule.
Set a prayer schedule. See, I don't know about you, but I do know about you. But scheduling. I really do need to have things scheduled. I mean, I try to be a little more flexible in my life, and I'm not as hardcore as I used to be. But I think setting a time aside for prayer, for devotion, for just relaxing, setting a time to me is very important, because if you don't schedule it, chances are it's not going to happen, or it's going to get pushed way back.
Yeah. For me, I rely on. I've found that when I've missed my devotional time, prayer time, it's because I was not doing my normal routine, which is, for me, I get on the first thing in the morning, get on my little treadmill desk thing, and I find that, I haven't done the devotion in 3 days. I go, that's because I didn't get on the treadmill, because as soon as I get on the treadmill, that's my trigger. We got to get out the phone and do the devotional.
Yeah, it's interesting when we're doing conference calls with people and you're on the treadmill talking. It's always interesting. Yes. Not only do you hear it in the background, but sometimes you're a little out of breath depending on what's going on. And I'm sure people on the other end have no idea you're on the treadmill, and they're wondering, what's wrong with this guy?
What is going on with this guy? Yes.
All right. Number 18, commit to doing one nice thing for someone you interact with each and every day.
Oh, wow.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I have actually tried to do that the last couple of years, and I don't always get it done, but it really, I think, friend, your family, a family member, a person you work with, doing one nice thing is just a simple, achievable goal to commit to in this coming year. I think it's important to do that.
All right, number 19.
Number 19 is unplug.
Yes, and I can relate to this.
Yeah.
So create an hour window to be unplugged from technology each day.
Yeah.
So, and they recommend, actually, they talk about screen time messes with your sleep time. So there was, the recommendation is before you go to bed to unplug from any screen. My wife has actually just started that this year as well. So she's always had trouble with her mind racing and sleep, getting through the whole night, sleeping through the whole night. So it's just been a week or so. But
So how long does she unplug? I mean, a couple hours before she goes to bed?
Yeah, well, we go to bed very early because we're really old.
Well, she gets up early. She
She
teaches.
gets up she's a 4 a.m. riser, so
Right.
she goes to bed pretty early.
Yeah. So she unplugs for at least an hour or two before bedtime.
Yeah, she's trying to switch her evening habits up from sitting around watching TV to reading a book. So
yeah, I try to do it first thing in the morning, obviously, and I don't do it every night. I mean, I guess I do, but I don't. Probably not enough. You know, I should really unplug probably a little longer to do that. So,
yeah. All right, and number 20.
Number 20 in our life hacks for this brand new year: examine your relationship or your relationships. So, I have found in my life of doing ministry, it's very demanding. I mean, it really is, and you really always need to be careful. And I'm sure people hear this all the time, but hear it one more time. Don't let your ministry get in the way of your marriage, your relationship with your kids, or you know, if you're single, you know, hopefully you have at least one or two close relationships.
Right.
And I think, you know, we talked about scheduling a moment ago. I think even scheduling time with the important people in your life is so important. You know, again,
I
kids.
know there's people that do that. They say, "Oh, can't do anything from 4 to 6 p.m. because I've got a meeting with my wife."
Well,
you know.
I know that sounds awkward or sounds kind of weird, but I think it's important to do. I actually have a very good friend who we schedule a time once a month to get together, and we just go out to eat, have dinner, and talk about some things, and maybe play some pool or something. And he's very good at schedule. If I don't remember, he sends me an email going, "Hey, what's this month look like? Let's try to get together." Mm-hmm. We've had him on the show. Adam Colwell has been on the show before, and we get together, and it's basically just, you know, it's purposing in your life that you're going to spend time with people that you think are important.
So it's examining and prioritizing some relationships.
Yeah. I mean, those people are more important than your ministry, and I just can't say that enough. It's so important to do.
So we made it through.
We made it through.
Life hacks for 2018.
Yeah, for 2018, or whenever you're listening to this podcast, at least if you're listening late, give it a shot to try some of these out. I think they're very good, and I think it would make a difference in your life and the life of others. So I thought this year we'd do something a little different in the sense of I usually get on here and talk about, hey, we're JSL Solutions, and what do we do? So I thought we'd do that at the end. So we are a company called JSL Solutions, and we do this podcast usually every week, but we have several products.
We have streamingchurch.tv, live streaming for churches, Church App Live, which is mobile apps for ministries, and myfleck.com.
Yeah, streamingchurch.tv is the domain. If you're interested in streaming video, we can provide that. churchapplive.com is the mobile apps domain, and then myflock.com is the mothership, so to speak, that you started back in 2001.
That's right.
And that's church management, website templates, all that. So if you're interested in any of those things, let us know. If you have some feedback on this little list that we read and talked about, we'd love to get your feedback on that as well. What's the email?
Support@streamingchurch.tv.
Support@streamingchurch.tv is the email. We would love to get your takeaways on any of this and feedback. If you like it, you don't like it, no worries. So we're done.
All right.
Plenty of time to leave. All right. Well, he's Steve Lacy. I am Phil Thompson. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today on the Church Solutions Podcast. Catch us again next week and for another podcast, and we hope you have a great week. We will talk to you later. Take care.